In case you're wondering for what the dead silence is right now, it's simply because I'm in shock and awe that the U.S. has scored so low and that they're down 8. But we'll get to that. Don't worry. Let's get it. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. This is the NBA show. I am your host, JR. Thank you for tuning in this morning. I'm sure a lot of you are either half asleep, the rest of you are wide awake, but probably out there somewhere in La La Land, or in Canton, enjoying the Fantasy Football Expo. But if you are tuning in here on the show, thank you for tuning in. This is the NBA TSA Hoop Show, and we're going to talk a lot of Olympic basketball. We're going to wrap up a lot of that talk. We're going to try and figure out what's going on in the future. So if you guys have a second today to chime in, you can definitely chime in the comment section. We're running solo off of the YouTube live. Right now, just to give you a quick update, USA is down 10. First time that the USA has been down this big after a half in the women's gold medal game. Right now is US versus France. Down 10. It's 35-25 to France. Absolutely shocking right now, but not really if you have been following the U.S. women throughout these Olympics. A couple of things to note just right now is just the number of point blank range layup misses from our bigs like Brittany Griner, Asia Wilson, and so on and so forth. And just like that, with a fast break, the U.S. Brings it back to single digits. But that's a lot. That's a big thing. And of course, high turnovers from the United States, which is uncharacteristic. A team that's barely averaging double digits has managed to get double-digit turnovers for the first half in this gold medal match. Don't know if it's nerves. They decided to stay up late in Olympic Village and celebrate a little bit early. But yeah, uncharacteristic play by the United States right now. They're slowly starting to show form, but we're going to keep an eye out, and we're going to give you guys updates on that. Let's talk about the matches yesterday, y'all. Absolutely insane games. I think before we actually talk about the medal matches themselves, bronze of Germany versus Serbia, and then, of course, the gold medal match, also with the men of France versus the United States. We'll talk about the games that led up to them. And with that, Serbia versus United States, a barn burner. How close was that? I believe, I'll say this right now, I think it was the better matchup of all four matchups. That the bronze medal match should have essentially been France versus Germany matchup wise, and the gold medal match should have been Serbia versus the United States. Honestly, that game would have been called a lot closer. France versus Germany definitely showed that height and efficiency definitely helped France win out a lot in their way to the gold medal match. You saw a lot of guys, tough guys, down in the paint. Yo, what's good, Iggy? Good morning. Oh, we got someone coming on today. Let's go ahead and bring him on right now. So this is just open mic night. Rico, what up? Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. What's going on with you, bro?
Not much, man. Just getting up early, checking in with this gold medal match for the U.S. women, recapping some of the men right now. I was just saying that France on its way to the gold medal match used a lot of height. You got guys like Abu Seli, of course, Victor Wembanyama, a little bit of Rudy Gobert in there, but they definitely use their height and their ferocity, their power in order to get to the gold medal match. Right. Of course, they got there through Germany, which didn't get a lot from their guys like Daniel Tice and the Wagner twins. It was a little bit more of a lopsided event. France just kind of marched to the line, and that's essentially how they got to the gold medal match. But out of the semifinal matches, so you had France versus Germany, you had Serbia versus the United States, and then of course you had the medal matches of Germany versus Serbia, and then the United States versus France. What was your favorite game, man?
The bias are going to come through. I don't even care. For me personally, it's got to be the U.S. versus France game, mainly because of you look at the storyline behind it. Obviously, this was like the pinnacle for the big three. I guess you want to put it in the sense of LeBron, KD, and Steph, because this is pretty much their last chance of being at the Olympic Games. Because obviously within the next 4 years they're going to be gone. But just looking at, I'm going to go back there, just say tournament as a whole. Like this Olympic Games for basketball was like top notch, bro. You looking at games from like all these different matches, from the prelims to the qualifiers, and just like even the tournament going into it, like that you didn't really know what was going to happen this year. And I know a lot of us as Americans, we pretty much thought, oh yeah, it's USA all the way. But you look at these other teams, you look at teams like, you look at what Canada did. They got bounced early. Nobody expected them to get bounced early as they did. Germany came out pretty well. France was looking good. Serbia, I understand Jokic is there, as well as Bogdanovic. And they have a lot of other guys there as well that were able to kind of help contribute. But you really didn't know what was going to happen day in and day out once the tournament actually started. So for that as a whole, like I was extremely, extremely happy to just watch this whole tournament. Like I wasn't just watching us; I was watching all the other games as well, just because I'm looking at what to expect in case we meet up with somebody. Like I want to go back a little bit further and looking at the it was a match. I forget who Serbia played. I want to say it was Australia. They were down, I believe it was 20 something or whatever, and they made a massive comeback. Kind of get to the match that they were needed to then. And I was saying, like, yo, Serbia was out there dogging them boys, and like Australia had like a pretty damn sizable lead. Patty Mills was playing out of his mind, and I'm sitting here like, bro, Patty, yo, chill, bro. Like, and then Serbia and Jokic did what he does best, and I'm just like, this is why I sit here and watch it. This is why I love the game of basketball so much. Like, it is such a breath of fresh air to just look at it as a whole. Like the international game is no longer just. I hate to say it, Americans ain't really. I mean, Americans are still running the game of basketball, but it's like it's not as wide of a gap as a lot of people have thought in the in the past. So I mean, that's just me. That's just me. I buy and all that stuff, but
yeah. I would say that the USA versus France game for me was second only to the USA versus Serbia game, in which when you watched that game, and then we could dig into that in more. I'll dig into that more later, but it was so much more of a redemption game for Joel Embiid and Steph Curry, two players who I don't want to say were abysmal, but were sort of lackluster. I mean, you did have the U.S. Basically kind of run away with it against South Sudan. Embiid did have like a 20 bag or 30 bag that game, but it essentially was not needed. Oh, I'm sorry, versus Brazil. It was Joel Embiid came alive versus Brazil, and he wasn't really needed versus Brazil. But it was sort of like a warm-up game for him. But his actual effective game was in the semifinal match against Serbia. A lot of parallels everyone could make here. Of course, you got the socials talking about, it's the world versus Jokic. They have to team up in order to beat Jokic, et cetera, et cetera. But the best part about that game was the fact that we already had three storylines going on. We had Joel Embiid, of course, talking about his nationality, meaning not where he was born or what his heritage is, but where he has as a national citizen or naturalized citizen. So you have him as an American citizen, as a French citizen, et cetera, et cetera. The teams he could have played for, and he chose the U.S. Yeah, that storyline. You have the storyline of who's being played in the rotation, how Kerr is using players in the rotation. And then, of course, one of the developing ones was the absence of Steph Curry being in the lineup and where his shot has gone. So you had the chef who went crazy both games, okay? Semifinal match and gold medal match. You had Joel Embiid who said, "Oh, don't worry, guys, I'm back into playing shape for these 2 games." Absolutely amazing. And of course, you have that the team that everyone thought that would actually match up better against the United States than that would match up better against the United States than France did. Actually, you saw a lot closer of a game of Serbia versus the United States. So that's why that's my favorite game.
Yeah.
Saying Curry is the real MVP, and yeah, we're definitely going to get into LeBron being voted MVP
Oh boy, the discourse I've seen on that. Oh man.
for these Olympics. No one thought, no one, okay, no one thought LeBron was an MVP. He was the most consistent. He was one of the most consistent. I will give him that. But much like Brianna Stewart is right now, Brianna Stewart / Asia Wilson is for the USA women, KD, I would say, takes that role because he came in right off of resting and injury free to be the MVP.
Yeah.
He should have been top candidate as far as the Americans are concerned. I had Jokic because Jokic went absolutely bananas every game. Every game. He looked like he was gassed in half of those games, laboring and stuff like that. That man looked like he just came off of a bender out there in Serbia, off of his farm or something like that. And that man still had a 30 bag. Okay. So I
So
don't.
pretty much any other average night in the NBA for him because I feel like he does that all the time.
But that's why I had him as my MVP. But we'll get into that later. So we got our favorite games. France puts out silver medal. Wimby, of course, they got the I don't know if they put out crying memes, but of course he was in tears, just absolutely overjoyed being able to represent his country, what it meant for them to get this far. Futures, man, like 2028, got hoops coming. That'll be almost 5 years in the league. Wimby coming or what? What are we talking about?
Oh, he finna run it back. Like you don't get that close to winning gold and then say, "Nah, I'm not gonna run back." But also, like, there was a clip that I heard after the game. Like, when he was getting interviewed by a reporter, he's like, "This was a great experience," and I'm kind of paraphrasing, so I can't remember most of it. He was like, "This was a great experience. Be able to come in and represent my country for the Olympics. I've been learning a lot, but I'm pretty scared for like the future." And the reporter was like, "For FIBA or for the NBA?" And he's like, "For everyone." And I'm sitting here like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Here's my thing about that. Wimby is already a freak of nature. Like we already know, he's like this man is one of one. Like for him to be that size, that length, to be able to do what he does, dribble, pass, shoot, it's almost unheard of. And for him to be, in the next 4 years in 2020 LA, which I would love to be able to see if I can come to that one, but that's later down the road. For him to be, having developed more, of his NBA game, but also being able to play more internationally as well. I was under the impression when I heard that clip and when I saw Wimby, I'm like, this may be like the beginning of his domination of the league, like going into next season. Just because for him having come so close to play as well as he did the entire tournament, and for him to be as young as he is right now, this man is going to wreak havoc over the league the next few years.
Facts.
And when it comes back to 2028, I'm curious as to who we send because obviously the league's gonna look a lot different in 4 years.
Yes.
But I know for a fact Wimby, and then you got a lot of these other guys coming up in the league, that we probably don't even know of, haven't even heard about.
Right.
France is gonna be something serious to deal with. Like that's not to say that the rest of the world isn't, but I just know France is gonna be that team I'm looking at with him as a focal point, and I'm just like, Okay. USA, y'all better. I understand y'all got the Avengers ready for this one,
Yep.
2024. That was great. We got a farewell tour, but I know for a fact, 2028, everybody's coming to our city, our country. So we can't. We got to show up and show out.
Yep. Just a quick update: USA and France tied at 43 right now. Let's go, Asia.
All right.
Asia Wilson just fouled at point blank range. Again, USA women just missing point blank range, just not executing really well. France being pests right now in this gold medal match. So if you guys are up right now, tune into that game, please. Futures, you know what? I was thinking about this. It's probably more going to depend on contract talks, what they're going to say for these players at 2 years. Some interesting things that, like you mentioned 2028, that had actually developed well before the Olympics even started. You got Kawhi Leonard. You have Zach Edey. Just two names to date, to think about right off the top of my head. Who you have the injury bug for Kawhi Leonard, which affected his ability to be part of Team USA, which
Right.
actually, if y'all don't know, if y'all don't understand, that was a blessing in disguise. Derek White was actually very pivotal defensively on the front end, the opening rounds of the USA's matches. So, got to definitely talk about that. But a player in Zach Edey who contractually what and Andrew Wiggins. That's the other name that I was thinking of. Three big names. Okay, Zach Edey, who contractually, and Andrew Wiggins were told that they, just for the benefit of their NBA team, could not participate in the Olympics. Kind of a head scratcher, but also understandable, as the possibility of that said player getting injured, affecting their careers and their ability to be useful to the NBA team the following season. Because guys, we got NBA basketball in less than 2 months, I believe, is the timeline right now.
Oh damn.
Late
Yeah,
September,
October.
early October. Coming up. So that's not that far away. Some of these guys are rolling right into it. I think that might have played a little bit of a factor into a few of these teams being effective. Of course, Australia not having their major big. You're still running on the coattails of Patty Mills, who, by all intents and purposes, in NBA terms, should not be playing basketball at this level. But of course, we know that when it comes to Olympics, you can definitely play until you're like 2 times LeBron's age right now. He can still continue to participate in the Olympics. That doesn't affect it overall. But I don't know, if you're sitting there and you're saying you're a team like Canada, you're a team like Germany, and you're saying, hey, it would be nice if we can get all of our guys, and you're talking about returning guys. What do you think? Do you think it's possible that, like, someone like Wemby gets the red light and we see a different team? Does that affect how you view the strength of these teams going forward?
Well, I look at it from a case of Wemby. Like I say this with all love in my heart. I don't know how many more years Pop is going to be coaching that team. So I feel like with him having the impact that he has on Wemby, it's going to be a big factor in whether or not he actually ends up going back to the Olympics in
Facts.
2028. So
Facts.
that's something else that we got to bring into a point. Pop's been in the league for a long time. That being said, you look at a lot of the other guys that like coming into the league and just being in there right now. Like I look at some of these other teams. Like I look at Canada again. With we talked about Andrew Wiggins, Zach Edey, Shea was out there balling out.
Yep.
Brooks, I think RJ Barrett was there as well.
Yep.
So if you
Sure
look at
was.
Canada, they had some great firepower there. Australia with Patty Mills and Josh Giddey, who was also
Yep.
like a key factor in that game as well, was against Serbia. Which it sucks for them that they ended up losing, but um, I feel as though you brought up a good point with NBA contracts and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting to kind of see what salary cap positioning and all that stuff is going to look like in 4 years. Obviously, it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And then you got to worry about this whole thing about first and second aprons. But I would still think that if some of these guys are in a position to want to compete for the Olympics,
Yep.
I would think coaches and GMs are probably going to look at them and some of them might say yes, some of them might say no. But in the case of Wemby, I feel like I still come back to these games. Like he was this close to actually, winning gold as the hometown team essentially. So I feel like that's a big factor that's played into it. So
Mm.
I would imagine that he would come back. Um, hell, I don't know what Rudy looks like in 4 years. Maybe he might still be better. That's the kind of thing about too. Granted,
Uh,
he was kind of a. I mean, we saw the game. Ant literally went 1-on-1 with this man and just said, "All
yeah,
right, let me go ahead and cook real quick." I'm like, "That's your teammate." So you are cooking your old teammate on the world stage. And I'm sitting here like, "Yo, this
man,
is
man, man.
this
That's
is
Ant. That's
insane."
Ant. I don't get this man. Like, sir, we're not on the play yard, okay? You don't have to cook your man's every day. This man comes up every day ready to battle, talking about I smoked your mama last night. Like, I know that they do that in Georgia, but you are teammates in Minnesota right now. Y'all need chemistry. I'm sure.
Oh,
What's his name? They added point guard, old dude.
Mike Conley,
Yeah, I'm sure Mike Conley has talked to him about this at length. Like,
you gotta be like, "Hey, just ease up."
and sitting there like, yo, but he don't got cookout juice, and Conley sitting there like, it doesn't matter. That's your brother, man. You need to stop hating on him. We need to come together. He's on some like, he on some Malcolm, he on some Martin stuff. Conley on some Martin stuff, and Ant be on some Malcolm stuff. Like, I don't get it. But as far as Rudy Gobert is concerned, it's interesting how the same thing about him as a particular player is consistent from the NBA to where he's playing with France, where the
Exactly.
team is only as effective as his ability is to stay on the court. I swear to God, this man, he's either an offensive black hole when the team isn't able to spread out the ball and he's not able to dominate down in the paint, or he's a defensive liability when he's getting these foul calls like racked up against him. Now, these were international FIBA rules, okay, that he was playing with. So
Right.
there was a lot more leeway, there's a lot more physicality, things that are right up in his alley, and teams were still giving him the juice, man. They were still running it up on him, and I just don't get it. He was effective all the way up to the gold medal match. I don't Do you get an invite back? Because Embiid probably says, if I could do this with the US once, I'm gonna do it again. And the thing's wide open. Is me and AD who could play the post right now for the Americans. I got a spot. I don't know how long AD's gonna be there. If they want me, if I stay healthy, I'm gonna be there.
Right.
France, I gotta play behind Wembanyama. Gobert is more French than the croissant. Okay. Um, and they got big dudes over there. Like Abu Seli. I'm sorry, but yeah, he's sitting there saying, "I'm not chasing no NBA contracts. If a
Bruh,
team wants me, they could call me." Minnesota might just swap real quick.
somebody better get that man on the phone. Get that man in the. I'm
He
gonna say
was
this. Get that man in the league ASAP. Like I saw what he did. I saw what he did. Everybody saw what he did. There's 30 teams. You mean to tell me not one of 30 teams is not going to be looking to call that man and set him up with an NBA contract?
we can go back and forth. We can go back and forth about that all day. He said that he because he was on one. He was on with he said the clip. I think it was the Clippers. The Clippers or Phoenix. I got to go back and fact check that one. But he was in the NBA for like 2 seasons. But I think when you, and this is a whole other discussion that I'll probably get into later. But when you see when you hear the backstory being given by the announcers and they talk about the experience of some of these players, where they're playing at currently as far as their day-to-day basketball versus what's what they could be doing, talking about, oh, we're highlighting this character. Uh, when it comes to when it comes to the availability of someone like Abusele, it's almost crazy to think that teams don't pick up on him, but it's also the league. You know, the league sometimes just goes, "Oh, the politics aren't right," or they just don't feel like giving the contract to a player who they don't think can commit to a 96 game season. I just want to point that out. We always say 82 games. It's not 82 games, it's 96, because if you're going the distance, you have to play 82
to get to
be eligible to win 16 games more. So we got to think about that too, because if we're going all the way back as far as the Olympics is concerned, then you got guys like the guy that we think is just one of the coldest white dudes out there on the planet, Dallas Mavericks' very, very own Luka Doncic, who came into the Olympics hobbled, didn't even qualify.
Slovenia, yeah.
So, when there's a lot going on there as far as getting players like Abusele. By the way, USA women up to now 6:30 left in the fourth right now. France definitely giving this game a lot of juice, a lot like last night's men's game. Oh, that was a bad tip. Anyway, it's just a lot to dissect as far as the future for France, America, especially because it's a swan song for a lot of guys. I mean, Chef went out on a high note. Bron went out on a high note. I'll tell you what, I got a shout out to Deontay out there. I know you listening, bro. Worried about your Giants right now and everything that's going on at the Expo. But Deontay, if you hearing this, man, I'd like to apologize on behalf of the rest of USA basketball and say there was absolutely no intended disrespect towards Jason Tatum and not being played as much as they did. We tried to get him involved in the offense, but that man has not developed the jump. His jump shot has left him. It's one of the big stories we were talking about. Like, why isn't Kerr playing Jason Tatum in these Olympic playoffs? And I think one of the big reasons is that offensively, that what was required to play for the time that he was on the court was for him to be able to score a jump shot or two, and he wasn't able to do it. I don't know why or where his jump shot went. You didn't really see a lot of it during the NBA season. I mean, he's shooting at a better clip at 3-point percentage jump shots in the NBA wise, but flip over to stuff with FIBA. The guy that just won gold in 2021 with Tokyo was somewhat ineffective. I mean, I don't know if you're Kerr and you got the reigning finals MVP there, you got the NBA champ. Why aren't you playing Jason Tatum?
I feel like that's the age-old question that everybody was talking about this year, but just the whole Olympics. But I'm looking at the roster. It's like, here's the thing: not everybody was gonna get major playing minutes throughout the entire Olympics. Like, that's one thing a lot of people got to realize. I understand a lot of people look at it as like, oh, Tyrese played some in the prelims and like that, but you don't see him like crying and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I like Reese. He cool. He's solid. Don't know how much he was playing time he's gonna be getting with. You look at Derek White, you look at Drew, you look at Steph, you look at Book, you look at like Ant. I'm like, I'm sorry, Reese. Like you kind of the odd man out on that one. And then you look at Tatum. I'm also looking at like the switchability of some of these other guys. You got Bron, you got KD. I think even Derek White could kind of help on the perimeter as well. Ant was AD was out there too. Like, I don't have any distaste towards Tatum in terms of these Olympic games. Like, he's a Celtics player. Cool, I get that. I'm gonna hate the Celtics just because that's how I am as a Lakers fan. But when it comes to USA basketball, we all won. I don't know. Like, Kerr got heat for not playing him like one of the pool play games or group plays, and then he started him in that game, and he's just sitting there like on the bench the whole time. Like, he played sparingly in the gold medal game, but like his shot just wasn't there. Like, if your shot isn't falling and you're not really able to help defend, like a guy like Drew, like a guy like Derek White, like teammates of yours, and your shot ain't falling, like I don't mean this disrespectfully, but what use are we going to have for you right now on the court? Like, I'm not trying to say that like with any disrespect, but it's like if you're not contributing like we want you to, like,
I
I'm sorry.
so here the two things that I was worried about mainly was the defense of the United States, um, mainly because I had saw at least in the warm-ups and the tryouts well before the Olympics started that the U.S. both sides, but we'll get into the women's side in a little bit. But mainly for the men, they were getting lost in with the guards. They were essentially getting lost on the perimeter, getting beat quicks. That's why it was so crazy to see that the score was so close in that game of the main Olympic team versus the select team, and why so many people were talking about Cooper Flagg because he was leading the charge as far as attacking from the point, which is something that you would see in games in the NBA. Depending on the team that you're playing against, I mean that was always a Lakers problem, but for it to carry over to the U.S., it was kind of like, wait, what? We're getting beat defensively at the point again, so that was a big concern. And then on the other side, ball handlers were getting pressured by international teams at the point position as well. I think that's one of the big reasons why you saw Jason Tatum not get utilized a lot, because when he gets physically pressured when handling the ball, it disrupts his offense completely. It disrupts anyone's offense that is used to going one-on-one and creating their shot. With FIBA rules, guards are, and you'll see, if you go back and you watch the tape, you'll see that players are able to kind of dig in, hand check a little bit more,
Right.
do some stuff that
We used to be able to do back in the day, but
yep, stuff that we yes able to do back in the day, but they don't allow that now. And y'all can get into that on
right,
on X, man. We moving on. We're moving on. We're back to the NBA this time.
right.
But the reason why Chef got shut out and the reason why Tatum got shut out is just the players were getting bombarded and doubled and bothered early on, and so I think those were the reasons why you didn't see a lot of Tatum. And there were things that I worried about, but US is just so big and physical. They just kind of started to get out on breaks anytime that the ball came off of that rim. It just started going, and that's like the biggest strength of the United States is just pure athleticism. It's absolutely insane. Tied 55 all right now with 3:50 left in the game for gold medal match. France is racking up those team fouls. Damn it, man. They're doing everything they can to get this medal match. They are hungry with Team France of the men wearing their silver medals in the stands. It's absolutely amazing. So yeah, overall, I don't think it was absolute disrespect to Tatum as a player, but there are only so many minutes. I think Kerr said the right words politics-wise as far as there not being enough minutes schematically to fit Tatum into rotations to where it made sense. But I don't know, something about it just made me think, well, LeBron doesn't start off the scoring for Team USA. He sort of ends it. And he worked better on the break and wide open stuff. That's where most of his damage came from. So for a guy like Tatum, who can give you a few more set shots, I know you don't want to run Team Boston with White, with Tatum and all up front at once. But why not run it with all of them at once to see what you come out with? But of course, we don't want to do. Baskets are not cheap when it comes to FIBA rules and Olympic play, so it doesn't matter. U.S. won gold, yay! I was absolutely sad to see Serbia getting the bronze medal. I'm sorry, France. Y'all did your thing, but I think that the committee marched y'all and gave y'all for all intents and purposes. You think that the seeding would go that since the U.S. won the most, like one top overall seed,
right?
They had the biggest point margin. They lost none of their games. They should have had the easiest path to the gold medal match. France got marched, okay, to the gold medal match. I'm sorry. If they had played Serbia, they would have been cooked. Bogdanovic was going off he said, I'm not staying in Atlanta no more, y'all suckers. I'm getting out and getting my money. I'm getting that cap money. He went absolutely bananas in those last two matches. And I mean, I know it's like the world versus Jokic, but Bogdan's a player too. Like
Bogdan, hey, look, I got mad love for him, and this might be one of the last few things I get to talk about before I get ready to go to work. Like I'm looking at Twitter, I'm looking at social media the whole time. Him out there just cooking everybody, and like the whole 3 to the dome and all this other stuff with Melo in the stands, and I'm just sitting here like, bro, you realize you done messed up, bro. You done woke up like a demon in the rest of the squad. Like Bron was over there cooking, Steph was cooking, Durant was. I got to talk about Durant for a second because I will say this. Like I understand he was coming off of like I want to say I don't know what it was, a knee sprain or an ankle sprain, something like that. ACL, I don't know. It was a sprain that he had. For him to come back having not played as much as he did in like the prelims and some of the group play and stuff like that, and for him to just come out and cook the way he did, I'm not surprised. But at the same time, looking at the way this man plays the game of basketball is a pure art form in its finest. Like that snatchback he did in the semifinal going into the gold medal game. Joel's trying to set a screen. He said, get out the way. I got this. Cooks him between the legs. He, cross up, snatch back, pull up, bang. And I'm like, oh my God. Kevin Durant, what in the ungodly world are we talking about right now? Like, I look at him and, like I said, the whole thought process of this being the end of an era is truly something special when I look at him, Steph, and Bron, because like I said, these are guys that I know for a fact I grew up watching the entirety of their careers. Like, nothing, like, I understand a lot of other guys coming to pass, so like, cool, but this is like the guys that I know for a fact I grew up on watching the game of basketball, and I know in the next 4 years when 2028 comes around, they might be in the stands watching, but they ain't going to be on the court. And I feel like there was so much disgruntlement. I'm not even sure if that's a word. If I just made it up, it might be. But, like, so much disdain and, like, so much hate everybody's talking about. It's like, oh, my God, why can't, everybody's talking about Curry should have won the MVP and then Bron shouldn't have won it and how Durant was doing this. And I'm like, bro, I'm going to be real with you. At that point, I really didn't care. Like, y'all over here grasping for straws. I'm sitting here trying to enjoy the game of basketball for what it is at its finest with these three guys. Because this was Steph's first time in the Olympics. I'm sitting here wishing he'd have been in sooner, but hell, he's already got a Hall of Fame resume, and he's added a gold medal to it now. Ron, this is his third. KD has the most all time as an American now with 4, or in the men's side. And I'm just sitting here like, dog, like what a time we had, bro. And like I didn't really get a chance to like watch the gold medal game as intently as I want to. I was in the car on the way back home watching it, and I'm sitting here watching that barrage of threes that Curry's putting in dagger after dagger after dagger. And that one shot, actually, there's 2 shots he made. It was earlier in the game where he hit that rainbow shot over Wemby, which I'm still trying to figure out how that went in. That shirt, that shot needs to be put on a shirt, a post, or something. And then the double team that he had from Evan Fournier and Nicholas Batum. I'm saying here, like, you were cooking 2 guys at the top of the key, fading back, high arcing shot over 2 defenders in an Olympic gold medal match.
Yep.
It does not get better than that. And I'm sitting here the whole time like, I'm going to be real with you. I don't care who wins MVP. I don't care about none of this stuff right now. At the end of the day, I got to watch 3 of the best players in the history of the game of basketball. That is not up for debate. I didn't say, like, these are the top 3 periods. Like, 3 of the best players who played the game of basketball at this level, period. Cook on the world stage.
Yep.
And it was beautiful. And I want to say this. I doubt he sees this. Noah Lyles. Hey, we world champs now. World champion or what? we world champs now.
We the champs. We the world champs. We the world champs.
That's
it. You know what? I want to really leave that whole thing with Noah Lyles alone because I'll say it like this. There was a modicum of truth to it. We can absolutely like there's a whole dissertation to talk about like whether it's settled of why NBA champs should be crowned the world champs. If you're talking about before the 90s, you're 100% right because it was by 98% American in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't say that we're not world champs and then argue that Jokic is the best player in the NBA at the same time. That just doesn't work. But again, we'll get into that later. Had a question from Hot Take real quick. Just before you get out of here. Who's a better Olympian, KD or Melo?
It's KD. Like I'm sorry. Like, I mean, look, he got the most gold medals. He's an all-time leading scorer for the Olympics on the men's side. Like, and this is no shade to Melo because Melo was a demon on the court, bro. Like, but at this point, I think the honor in my eyes goes to Easy Money Sniper. And you can call recently biased, you can say whatever you want, but I got to give that honor to KD at this current moment. So.
Yep. I think that we give Melo his flowers because he was the guy for the Redeem team. I mean, we all know that story is bookended by Kobe.
For sure.
We know. But the pages are filled with Melo, which is why he's so highly decorated, so highly coveted, which is why seeing him at the Olympics was absolutely enthralling and sort of a symbol of y'all not getting this one. I'm sorry. But and Hot Take, he a Knicks fan, so he probably sitting there like that. He probably mad that he probably big mad that we said KD. I might have to get him in here in a few just for him to defend that take because he'll tell you otherwise. But
hey,
right now,
that's how it is,
and there are arguments to be made of the way that KD was able to be at the spot where he's at, but being on multiple Olympic teams, scoring at the pace that he did, being effective despite like injuries or changing teams, whatever nonsense was going on. I think it's now I'm mad. Yeah, I love you, man. I love you. But these are all that being said, it's like KD, I think for a lot of us that have watched, at least in this era of basketball, because Melo was part of that era. Let's not get twisted. But KD has been the most consistent, and he's going to be leading the Los Angeles team. So let's not forget that because I don't think Bron's going to be there. I don't think Curry's going to be there. I think it's just going to be KD out of the big three. So, US. All right. Rico, I know you got to jump. I appreciate you jumping in, man. You have yourself an interesting day at work. You go wear your gold medal, sir.
Yeah. I'll catch up with you later, though, man.
All right. Peace.
Peace out.
Yeah. Don't worry, Hot Take. We're gonna get you in here in just a few. But in the meanwhile, shout out to Rico for being able to jump in when he could. Just absolutely insane as far as what has transpired. I mean, Rico was sitting there talking about wow, the thing that we witnessed. I mean, we're all talking about it. The cold photos from Steph Curry, just absolutely going bananas in the last two games versus Serbia and versus France. There was nothing anyone could do with the best lockdown defense, tallest dudes going out there closing out on Steph, and he said, "Don't matter. I hit logo shots, okay? I hit tunnel shots. I hit trick shots, okay? I do this for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and brunch for all y'all that are up right now watching the sports affiliated TSA Hoop Show. Again, thanks you guys for tuning in today. I know it hasn't been the most structured day, but of course, we're coming off of 2 weeks of Olympic play because we missed last week. I was just coming back in. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was tired. Okay, I was looking a lot like early Olympics Jokic. Okay, and there was no way that we were gonna be able to do the show and give you guys the quality that you deserve. We're still figuring out everything as far as seating is concerned. 50 seconds left in the women's gold medal match, 62-59 USA right now. So we got that going on right now. There was just a lot going on as far as and a turnover by US, a timely turnover. There was a lot going on last week, but we're here now. Again, we got the gold medal match going on. US women traveled. Okay, Asia wasn't traveled. That's what it was. Gold medal match going on versus France. First time ever in the Olympics for this sport where the same two teams were playing each other in both the men's and women's side of the same sport. So that's absolutely nice to see the home team being represented in the gold medal match for both sides. So France being guaranteed at least 11 more silver medals, if not 11 gold medals. This is coming down to it. Very interesting. Tenured Olympian Diana Taurasi has not played in this second half. Right now we got let's see who is in. Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson, Nafisa Collier, Jackie Young just found out earlier, so I'm trying to see who the other two are in right now. I saw a little bit of Sabrina Ionescu just to try to switch things up. We have Las Vegas' own Kelsey Plum is in there, and I'm trying to see who the fifth is right now. Got France on the final timeout with 17.4 seconds left, down 4 points to the United States. So it's been interesting as far as the development of the women's side and a sort of a movie as far as the men's side is concerned. So all this is sort of coming together, this like nice storybook ending. And we're talking about the future of the men, but I want to jump real quick over to the women's side because again, the women's gold medal match is happening right now. Absolutely imperative for you guys to watch that because you're seeing. I mean, we talk about the saturation of professional players for basketball, for WNBA and NBA. We talk about the saturation of NBA players in the global teams, from Dennis Schroeder, Daniel Tice, the Wagner twins on Germany, to SGA, who was third in MVP voting. You have the MVP, the Finals MVP. Nope, he wasn't Finals MVP, but also helping a couple of years ago, Jamal Murray. You got guys like Lugens Dort, who's been coming on lately as far as his three-point shot and becoming a much more outside threat. And hot take, yeah, I appreciate it, man. You know what? We do this early. We do this at a weird time. Everybody's on the clock right now. I'm thankful that I'm able to do this show. And again, this is the TSA Hoop Show. I appreciate all y'all. Kalia Copper, that's who's in right now for the fifth for USA Women. But yeah, next week definitely for sure we'll be fresh out of basketball to talk about. We'll be back into the off season, what everyone's going to be doing from there. But my point was there's a heavy saturation of WNBA players in the women's side as well. Starting with the bronze medal game with Nigeria and Australia. That was a very WNBA heavy. Throw that out. There you go. 12 seconds left. And France electing to foul and try to stretch out this game down to USA. And it's imperative that you guys go back and show your kids this game because a lot of the players that are playing on the U.S. team, from Kelsey Plum to Asia Wilson, Stewie, of course. These are players that you're going to see in the next Olympics because not just age-wise, but how effective they have been in the league itself as far as advancing the game. But this team, as it's comprised right now, I don't think that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, because that's the backstory of how this team got put together, who got to start, et cetera, et cetera. When you're seeing teams not play premier players like 3 hit, down 1, 4.9 seconds to go. All USA needs to do is get the ball in. And they get the ball into Nafisa Collier and another foul. Gabby Williams, huge WNBA player, is playing for France right now. That's another thing. I mean, you've seen players not being played on the men's side. I don't think Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese would have been able to be effective for U.S. women on this team. So I think that as their games develop and they get more into how to switch gears despite the physicality in the WNBA, I think they're going to be absolute monsters for the Los Angeles team in 2028. I think that they're locks, and I think that the committee got it right for not including those two. Because it's still a movie right now. France down 3. That was a 2. They banked it in. The United States won 67-66. They're going to go back and review this shot. They're going to check and see if it was a 3 or not. France just tossed up a last second shot. They're going to check and see where she launched it from. We're going to pause for a second. Foot on the line, definitely inside. Bank home. United States women win by 1. U.S. wins gold in the women's side. Congratulations to our ladies. Man, heck of a way to close it out. And again, hot take. We can talk about this next week all we want. I don't think Caitlin Clark should have been there. She's definitely going to be part of the national team when they start doing FIBA in a couple of years, when they start representing. And I think that with the way that, and here's why I say, especially right now, with the way that teams are being allowed to press upon the guards along the three-point line, what you saw early on for Caitlin Clark was a lack of ability to score with the physicality that was being allowed on her as a person. And it took a while for teams to switch gears, be able to scheme ways to get her free so that way she could score a lot more. So to free her up in doing her specialty, which is shooting. I don't think that they would have been able to scheme in time in order to get her to be effective. It would have taken a lot to switch all that and to figure out how to fit her in. Facts. Hot takes is all about the controversy. Yeah, George, I got you. But and then on the other side, Angel Reese, double machine. Everyone's talking about her inefficiency at point blank range. You're seeing WNBA superstar, 2-time MVP, 2-time WNBA champion, Asia Wilson, was missing point blank layups and shots. Not just her, everybody. And it was happening every game. Point blank shots were being missed. And they weren't easy layups. They were just very physical, very close shots. I don't think that Angel Reese would have been as effective as anyone else on this roster. And that's Angel Reese's specialty, is being able to shoot inside the paint. Definitely would have been able to rebound, but I don't think it would have mattered as much because, again, it's a 40-minute game. The WNBA plays a lot closer to FIBA than it does the NBA. So as far as time is concerned, the Bryants are there giving Ionescu hugs. That's great to see them there witnessing this. This is a great game between the home team and the United States. You guys, if you didn't watch this game, you go back and watch this. Timestamp me saying this. Go back and watch the United States women you're not going to be disappointed. I guarantee you. All the reasons I'm saying now, all the things that I'm saying now, Sue Bird there, of course, her being retired, and Team USA also being alongside, celebrating Asia Wilson, who should get MVP, um, for the women. Definitely a great sight to see. Um, yeah, this is hard to see the heartbreak on France's face because they fought so hard. They did all the right things this game to win gold, and they just didn't have enough there towards the end, having to the fouls just start piling up, and the game slowly, like it was right there. It was literally right there, and they got so close. Definitely proud of France should be proud if they run it back for next season. But futures, you're definitely seeing a lot of this team being able to come back. Again, I think that you're not going to see Diana Taurasi there. I think that they might switch up some of the bigs. Nafisa Collier, for all intents and purposes, as much of a beast as she was in the WNBA, and as much of a bruiser as she can be, I'm not sure if she was as effective offensively because there were a lot of point blank shots that she was missing, got into foul trouble very early on. And some of the earlier matches, it's a high possibility that you're going to see some changes there in the bigs. The guards, not so much. I think they got just about everyone right. Shout out to Kelsey Plum, who is in. I think when you, and this is going to be the worst part. You're going to see. You're going to see her. You're going to see Caitlin Clark, and they're just going to be yap in everyone's ear, and they're probably going to be getting up a couple technicals. But I strongly believe that you're seeing the future of the WNBA right here on a global stage. So USA women, USA men, back-to-back Olympic champions. The USA women they just achieved their seventh gold medal in this match. It goes all the way back to early 90s. So future set right here. We're not sure what it's going to be for the men's. It's going to be exciting to see if we see Tyrese Halliburton come back for the men. We're going to see who comes back. Hopefully Asia Wilson is still there for 2028 on the women's side. And that just about does it for me today. I appreciate Rico for coming on. And anyone else who ever wants to come on the show, shout me out a DM. Again, you see the moniker right there. It's @ the number 4, the big letter F, big letter A, Apollo, 4F Apollo. You can follow me on X. You can follow us on X at the sport affiliation. You can also hit us up on our Discord. We're definitely blowing that up, where you can get your daily bets every day. We're definitely putting out a lot of stuff for all sports, if possible. Daily picks, daily fantasy. We got a lot of our guys at the Football Fantasy Expo there in Canton right now. If you follow us, if you go to our website at thesportsaffiliation.com, we got some great content going up about the experience going up there. Follow a bunch of the guys at the Sports Affiliation as well. They're definitely giving you guys all the great stuff. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been an absolute treat giving you guys what my perspective is and the best that I can as far as the news is concerned, as far as hoops throughout these Olympics. Today is the last day of hoops for all intents and purposes for the Olympics. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of it. If you guys didn't get up, rewatch this, go back, watch some Olympics. Appreciate you guys. If there's nothing else, we out of here, man. We're out of here. So we will see you guys again actually in 2 weeks, because we're going to give you guys a little break, give you guys a chance to catch up. Go watch some breakdancing, y'all. Personally, I think that breakdancers should come back, but this might have been the last time we see it. But we'll talk about that later on. And if you guys have anything to shout out, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget, same bad time, same bad channel, 2 weeks. Love you all. Peace.